Hey there, I'm Trendikis, and today at JTech I'll be teaching you how to test your throttle position sensor, your throttle body position sensor, the TPS sensor. I'll be teaching you how to test it to make sure it's functioning properly, test it to see what signal you're getting to it. I'll show you all the different ways to test it. We'll be using a multimeter, I believe, and for sure we'll be using the oscilloscope, and we'll show you exactly how to set it up and where to place the leads on the oscilloscope, and on the multimeter. I'll show you where to put your leads and how to test the sensor. So today I'll be using this 2008 Hyundai Tiburon to show you how to test the throttle position sensor. On this car, it's right here, and here is the connector. It has 3 wires, one for power, one for ground, and one for signal. And the test we'll be performing resistance on the actual sensor to see if it's properly working, and then we'll be back probing this connector to get the reading off the signal as the throttle plate is being opened and closed. And then here is the wiring harness for this vehicle. And you can see our sensor right here. When we'll test for resistance, we'll be testing, back up fella. We'll be testing the orange wire and the yellow wire. We would take our multimeter and we'll put the leads on the actual sensor, on the terminals on the sensor, and just see what we get from touching the red lead to the yellow wire and the negative lead, or the black lead, to the orange wire. And we should get a reading around 0.3 ohms, around there. But if we get overload, then there's something wrong with the sensor. And that's how we would test for resistance. And when we actually test for signal, we'll be putting pins in the back of the connector connecting to the sensor. We would actually so when you are testing for signal, you would do what we call back probing, which we stick a little metal pin or a little metal needle through the back of the connector, and so we can touch the signal wire without having it unplugged. We can have everything plugged in. So we plug our red lead, or we plug one lead from the oscilloscope. We unplug the. So when we're testing signal, we use a device called oscilloscope, which can show us live data, live fluctuations in anything electrical on a vehicle. So we'll take one lead, we'll plug it up to the back, to the little pin that's back probing the back of the connector on the signal wire, and then the other lead will go to the negative terminal on the battery, and then you'll have the car not all the way cranked but just accessories on, and then you'll mess with the throttle plate. You'll open it and close it, and you'll see the signal that you're getting from it. So when you're testing the sensor for signal, you'll use a computer and a program and this little device. It's an oscilloscope, but this one is adaptable to your computer. So you'll take one lead and you'll back probe. You'll put a pin through the back of the sensor, or the back of the connector for the sensor, and you would connect one lead to that and then one to a ground. And then the whole time when you have it all hooked up, You just mess with the throttle, and you can see that we're getting a signal. That's full throttle. And you just let go of the throttle. See, every time you open your throttle, it sends more electricity to the sensor for a signal. It goes from 1 volt up to 4 volts. And that's how you test for signal on a throttle position sensor. Next, I'll be teaching you how to check for resistance. So to check the resistance of the sensor, you would unplug the sensor, get your multimeter, take the red lead, put it on the power terminal of the sensor, and then you would take your black lead and put it on the negative of the terminal on the sensor. And once you do that, you would change it to ohms, and you see our resistance of 0.3 ohms. That's a really good resistance. And if there was something wrong with the sensor, a short or something, it would just say overload. And that's how you would test resistance on this sensor. And that I just showed you how to test resistance and check signal for a throttle position sensor. You can use these techniques and apply them to other sensors. Apply them to other sensors, but this is how you test throttle position. And thank you, and have a wonderful day.